Welcome everybody to the April Stronger Together Get Together. It's lovely to see you guys and to see your nice and smiley faces. And we have actually got some sunshine today, so that is brilliant too. Makes everything feel better, doesn't it? Do like this time of year so much. So I wanted to just start the session by just having a little show of hands, asking a question. Who is finding it more difficult than a year ago to get business? So anybody? I know I am. I'm finding it more difficult than a year ago to get business. I think it's tougher out there. Yeah, about half and half. Okay, it's interesting. So I do get a general sense as well that other people are finding it more difficult than it was a year ago to get business. I think there's still that continued negativity in the media, which of course we don't need to play into, but it's quite difficult, isn't it, to distance ourselves from it sometimes. But we can control what we can control, which is fabulous. And as business owners, we are very agile and we are still here. So that is to be absolutely celebrated. But when organising these Stronger Together get-togethers, I do have a little think, try and gauge what's going on out there with business owners I'm in contact with, people that are in the group. And I think that a lot of people are finding it more difficult than a year ago. People are finding sales more difficult. And actually, traditionally, people do find sales difficult, regardless of what's going on in the economy, etc., and going on in the media. So I thought I would ask the lovely Amanda to come and join us today. A huge friend of Stronger Together, has been with us from the very start and has participated in 4 other major webinars. So huge thanks to Amanda. So 7 or 8 years ago, I really struggled with the concept of sales. Maybe my palms get sweaty, palpitations. It just felt awful. And actually, even like verbalizing that now is making me feel those emotions. And at that point in my business, I've been in business now for 12 years. So I've been in business for around 4 or 5 years at that point. And I've been really blessed by how my clients had come to me and how my business was going. And I recognize that I've been really blessed. But I also recognize that sales are the lifeblood of a business. And I knew that I had to get a handle on this if I was going to progress and continue with my business. And I realized that I had a lot of negative feelings around sales because of the salespeople that I knew in that role in previous organizations that I'd worked in, and that had a huge impact on me. So, of course, realizing that was sort of, such an eye-opener for me. And I realized that I really had to get some help with this. I needed to embrace sales. I needed to get over this negativity. I needed to turn it into a positive. I needed to turn this negative emotion into a positive emotion. And I'd met Amanda around that time. So we've known each other for years now, and really, so happy that I met Amanda, and really very proud to say that she's a friend of mine and a very respected business owner. We work together. So I reached out to Amanda at that point and I said, look, I really need some help here. So we had a couple of sessions. And Amanda is superb. Within those sessions, we really turned around my negativity into positivity. And I realized that by encouraging people who have a problem that I can solve to let me help them and for them to become clients, for us to work together, was actually how I needed to look at sales. It's a complete shift in mindset. I love helping people. I want to help people. So by talking to more people, by encouraging them to work with me so that I can help them, that's how I reframed sales. And it was an absolute game changer for me. I absolutely love sales now. I love those sales conversations. I love the buzz of them. I just find them really interesting. They're a real opportunity to help people, to find out more about people, to see if I can help them. And of course, there are times where I can't help people, and that's okay too. It's not a negative. That is okay too. So I wanted to invite Amanda here to share her wisdom with us as a group. And Amanda has years of experience. She's incredibly talented. She works with teams of 2 to 200 salespeople at once. And she is an absolute force of nature where it comes to these things. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Amanda.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. I'm going to start with a thank you story. So I am a sales trainer, sales coach, facilitator, board facilitator, and pre-COVID, I did everything face-to-face, absolutely everything. Coaching as well, actually, madly, but coaching as well. And when Julia, just described how we met, when Julia set up Stronger Together, I was really keen. We all were at that time. It's, you know, about 3 years ago, yet last month, we were really keen to get together. And I remember, certainly I'm looking at Andy, and I think there are some people there who were there on that, at that time. And so I came on board and we had a session, and then I did my, Julia said, would you like to run a session online? And I'm going to tell you, I had never run a training session online. And I was quite scared. And I didn't really know what to do. And I got myself some kind of a whiteboard, some kind of a blackboard. I thought, well, I'll do it how I did it. Face to face, and I'll give it a go. And yeah, I gave it a go and I was really scared about it. It went really well, got some brilliant feedback, and I'm telling you, it was a pivotal moment for my business. So this group was pivotal, because what I then did, yes, some of it worked, some of it didn't quite work. And I got myself trained. In fact, the whole of my other business, we got ourselves trained as ILM master trainers. It was the first time we'd done it online. First time they'd done it online, and we got accredited. And since then, we've gone from strength to strength. So it's a massive, massive thank you to this group. It's in it personally from me. So what we're going to do today, it's going to be quite quick. I hope you're ready for some action-packed time. So I'm going to give you two, not one, but two opportunities, one of which is going to be in a couple of minutes, to practice storytelling, hopefully in some kind of a structured way. I'm going to give you an input into storytelling. I'm going to show you a film. And I'm going to do this because storytelling in the last probably absolutely since COVID, but before that, storytelling is such an amazing tool as business owners when we are selling, whether we're selling to existing customers or whether we're selling to new customers who've never seen us before. There are structures, there are types of stories that work. We automatically, I've got Sue on here, who is an amazing case study writer. Hi, Sue. Case studies are what we call a customer story, right? We're going to talk about 4 different types of stories, and I'm going to give the opportunity to practice one of those. Are you up for it? Thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Let's see the thumbs. I would please, if at all possible, and I understand if not, if at all possible, if you could put your cameras on, that'd be amazing. I am going to put you into breakout groups any minute now, so that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you. So before we talk about why storytelling is so important in the sales process, and before I do all that around structure, I'm going to give the opportunity, just have a little go. Just have a little go, okay? So we're going to put you into pairs only. I'm going to give you 6 minutes, 3 minutes each, and I'm going to ask you to do this. Just tell each other something you're really proud of right now. Yeah? Tell each other something you're really proud of right now. Just naturally, don't worry about structure, just tell somebody something. Could be personal, could be business, be whatever you like. Okay? Something you're really proud of. Another opportunity to just feel a bit proud of what we do, because we don't often get praise, do we? So hopefully you get a bit of praise from that person. So we are going into breakouts. I think we are 13. That should work. There may be one person. Yeah, actually, let me just make that into yeah, let's add one more room. Thank you. That's good. Right, 6 minutes. Please, I will pop a message in the breakouts to say after 3 minutes. So make sure you swap over, because we can get carried away with stories. And I'll see you back in 6 minutes. Okay, let's go. Who are you going to get? Oh, it's exciting. Hello. Right. Hi, Jane. Just got a couple of people to put into breakout. So bear with me. Hi, Jane. Did you hear that brief? Who else have I got here that's not signed? Fiona. Hi, Fiona. I don't know whether you are there or not, but I'm just about to put you into breakouts. So Fiona, are you there? Come in, Fiona. Calling Fiona. I'm not sure she is. Yeah. Hi, Sophie. Are you okay? Were you on your own? Right, that's fine. That's because Jane came out. So I'm just going to put the two of you into another room, if that's okay. Thank you very much. You might only get a chance to do one. Right, assign to room 3. Thank you, Sophie. Sophie, you need to go back to your room. Have you got the option to do that? Does it say so on the screen? Okay. Okay. Okay, that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop you, if that's okay with you, Julia, could you join your room 3 with Jane, and then I'll make these other 2 people go into a new one.
Yeah, Angie's only got one person in room 6, I think, and
Okay.
Judy Clayton's just joined as well. So
Thank you. I'm going to put you in a. You might not quite work. I might give you slightly more time. Okay, fantastic, lovely. So Sophie, still not ready. Right, Sophie, you stay here and tell us your story.
I've got the master to work with.
Yeah. So, yeah, tell us something you're proud of, Sophie.
Well, tomorrow we celebrate my 9th business birthday. So that's pretty much worth celebrating.
It is.
Yeah. Just on a free webinar to a load of small business owners. So I'm feeling like I need to have a bit of a lie down myself. So it's quite nice to be on the other end.
Yeah. Absolutely. 9 years. So what made you start your business?
What made me start my business was my kids. So I worked within the corporate space and realised quite quickly that the corporate marketing world didn't work with young children, wanted to be there, you know.
Everybody. Brilliant. Okay, so just give me some in the chat. I'd like you to give me some describing words that describe how that was for you. How did you feel about it? How was it? In the chat, some describing words. Good. Thank you, Andy. Comfortable, Andy says. Anybody get any praise? Bit of praise for something that you're proud of? Sharing, happy, surprisingly satisfied. Yeah, it's always good to actually one-to-one with somebody, isn't it? Not always positive, not always possible. Thank you, Priya. Positive, wonderful inspiration, but a little bit intimidating. I get that. And telling those stories, sales, you know, Julia just described that sometimes it feels like when you feels a bit pushy and feels a little bit, oh, somebody new I've got to speak to. So thank you for sharing that as well. What else do we have there? Yeah, thank you. Meet new people at the Cinema Challenges. Thank you. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to show you a way which makes it less intimidating. And I'm going to show you a really simple story structure. But before I do that, I've got a little video for you, which I thought was quite a cute description of why it is so useful to have stories. So here we go. Let me just share this with you. Just bear with me. Hang on, not quite working. Let's try it a slightly different way. No, that's not working. No, I'm not going to share a little. That doesn't want to work. So let's stop that share. Okay, am I back? Am I back? Right, I'm going to describe it to you. So in the video, we had a lady from the BBC, and we'll make sure we send the video link. Thank you, Judy, great idea. We'll make sure we share the video. It's about 4.5 minutes, and it describes how it has been, it's been researched through focus groups that people who read Harry Potter, after they're being are asked afterwards, and they actually feel like they could potentially move something, move an inanimate object by the power of their brains. They actually believe that. And somebody, yeah, exactly. And somebody who reads or watches Twilight, which is apparently about vampires, not for me, actually believes that their teeth might be slightly longer than other people's teeth. And the reason why that is because the power of a story, we emotionally come into the world of the storyteller. So we absolutely feel like it's happening to us. So please do read have a look at that video, because it's really, I think it's amazing. And it's a neuroscience. It's neurologically, we mirror the behavior. We genuinely think like that character, and we actually feel like it's happening to us. Now, why is that so important to selling and to business development? If you can get to a position where you can authentically tell the right type of experience, by the way, when we say storytelling, I come from up north, and when we used to say storytelling in Leeds, it used to be like spinning a yarn. I don't mean spinning a yarn and telling not untruths. I mean sharing experiences, either personal or that you know of others. So that power is that power of storytelling takes people in, and it's so important to be able to share the experiences that you've got, particularly when you are looking after customers already, or when you are going to be speaking to existing customers about new business, or indeed when you're meeting somebody for the first time in the story structure. I'm going to send you, I'm going to ask at the appropriate moment, I'm going to ask Julia to put into the link a selling process so you can see where it fits. The story structure fits at the point at which you're explaining how what you do works. Those of you who were on before, I shared a structure. It's about a sales conversation structure that goes connect, learn, match, complete, CLMC. Within match, when we're matching what we've got to offer to the needs of the customer, is when we talk about storytelling. So it's in a very specific part of the sales structure. So let's have a look at what stories might look like. Okay, so here is a really simple story structure. Okay, and I'm going to describe it. You see, I had did anybody recognize who I had on the on my background earlier? Yeah, Shrek. Okay, I'm going to describe this story structure using Shrek. This is the basic, what we call hero's journey. It's a story narrative that you will recognize. Hands up if you've done some, if you kind of understand, if you've heard of the hero's journey before. Give me a hand, physical hand. Yes, so, you know, good half of you. Yeah, Fiona, I absolutely, absolutely. Fiona's written a book about that includes storytelling, by the way, which is coming out soon, I understand, or maybe already has. So, the story structure, the hero's journey, let me describe it. On the left-hand side of the story, so in terms of the story structure, I've done a bit of a fairy tale, or once upon a time, here we were. And I've made it more business-like, so the current reality. So we're going to practice our business stories very soon. Meanwhile, I'm going to give you a demo. I'm going to give you a demo of both of them just to show you how quick it can be and how impactful. So let's do Shrek. So once upon a time, In fact, if you could unmute, and then I can ask some of you, who's seen Shrek? Hands up if you've seen Shrek. Hands up. Let me keep them up for a minute. Right, I get it. Okay, so if you could unmute those people who've seen Shrek for me, if you could unmute. Thank you. Jane. Once upon a time, where was Shrek? What was going on for Shrek? Tell me.
I can't really remember, but was he living in the forest or?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. He was living in a swamp, minding his own business. Current reality. Okay, very happy. Thank you very much. Okay, Julia. One day something happened. What happened?
Oh God, I can't remember, but he met the humor, the funny one.
Yeah, he met a donkey. The donkey
Yes.
turned up first, didn't it? The donkey
Yes.
turned up. Yeah, who ended up being his partner in crime, and a load of fairy tale characters turned up as well.
Yeah.
So there was quite a lot of change going on for Shrek. He was not happy about it, actually. Okay, and then he had to, can anybody remember, hand up if you can remember, what he had to do? What happened as a result of these people turning up in his swamp? Unexpected. Okay, Fiona, what happened?
He went on a journey.
He did. He went on a journey in order to, in this case, it was because he was asked if he could work out and where the princess was that Lord Farquhar wanted to marry, and went and rescued her from a dragon, or was a dragon, of course, rescued her from a dragon, he would be able to go back there. They'd all go away and he would be able to live his life, thank you very much, in his known world of in his swamp on his own. Okay, and then lots and lots and lots of things happen. We won't go into that. Usually there is quite a lot goes on in these Disney films, and then the conflict was resolved at the end by Colleen. Did you see it? What happened?
Many times. My kids are 23,
Right.
26 now. I can't remember.
How was the problem? What happened finally?
He fell in love with the princess.
Yeah, he did rescue, and indeed
He rescued
the princess. He rescued the princess, which was the original task, the original brief. He happened to fall in love with her because she also happened to be an ogre, and they lived happily ever after. Actually, they didn't, because there's probably 6 other films afterwards.
Princess Fiona.
So get it? Yeah. Fantastic. Now, when I described my story right at the beginning, that was a personal business story, all about me and my. Do you remember where I talked right at the beginning about Stronger Together? Reality, never done it before, quite scared. Oh my goodness, COVID. Change or conflict, got to go online, not face to face, got to go online. Oh dear, what am I going to do? Struggle, didn't know how to do it, felt a bit not confident, didn't really have the tools, didn't know how to do all this background thing, couldn't even put a background on a Zoom. Never mind look after Teams, which is even more different, and WebEx and all these other ones, Google Meet, all these things that I had no idea about. Conflict resolved, I got some training. I was able to practice in Stronger Together, and now I run probably 50% of our sessions online, and it's expanded us out into the world, actually globally, because you can now do all of this in all sorts of different time zones very effectively, and actually in some cases certainly more cost effectively, but in some cases better. In some cases it's better online. There you go. So that's an example. Following the story, here's where we were. I always get that wrong. There we go. Here's where we were. This is what happened. And then what the struggle was, conflict resolved, new reality. Get that? Simple. Easy. Interesting. Right. Okay. So the story template, I'm going to ask Julia to put into chat. And the practice we're going to do is using this format, this format here. Okay. So on a piece of paper, I would like you, if you can grab a piece of paper, everybody got access to some paper right now. Yeah, I'd like you to just write down that 5-step structure. Current reality, so where we were or where we are. Change or conflict, what's happening, why that's a challenge, or indeed in some cases with business stories and opportunity, how the conflict was resolved, how the challenge is resolved or was resolved, and then the new reality, the happy ever after. Okay, so write down those 5 stages. And then we think, you know, who's thinking, hands up. In fact, give me here is, oh my goodness, I have no idea what I'm going to do next in this next practice, because I've heard she's going to ask me to practice in a minute. This is really not, don't know yet. Here is, yeah, kind of seeing that a bit. And here is, yeah, ready to go. Give me some hands. Oh, good. Some ready to go. Some, yeah, not sure yet. Anybody got in the face? Is there kind of, yeah. Right, let's help you a little bit more then. So Andy, were you ready to go? Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to use Andy as an example. Hey, Andy, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to tell us a business story. Now, I'm just going to change my background one more time, because it's sometimes useful to see what types of stories might we need. So in the chat, Julia is going to put this book. This was a game changer for me during COVID. An absolute game changer. And the reason it was a game changer is because it described what I've just described, and then gave, in this case, Mike gave, I spoke to Mike, actually, he's in Australia as well. I spoke to Mike face to face and used his book in a number of online, and then I now do face-to-face trainings on selling storytelling. And it's 7 stories every salesperson must tell. And guess what? Whether you like it or not, you are all sales people. So let me describe my favorite elements. There are 7 of them. There are my favorites, because I've looked at Sue in the chat has said, what do you tell your story about? Well, it depends, doesn't it? Depends on the situation. So having some stories ready is important. So there are my favorite, I think, I don't remember whether I've written 3 or 4 on here. I think, yeah, my favorite 4. My favorite 4 are these. Personal story. I told Sophie a story about my garden, my greenhouse, and it connected us. A company story. So what Sophie told me a story about her company, which is 9 years old this year. And I remember the detail, right? You remember the detail because we're used to telling stories and we're used to hearing stories, and our brains mirror. And I go, oh yeah, 9 years, I'm with you there. You're thinking about your business and how old your business is as a result of a story. Customer story. Now, Sue Rizzello here is an absolute expert at this. We often talk about customer testimonial, don't we? Stories about customers, or case studies about customers, the story of where they were and how it happened, which almost always follows some kind of a hero's journey. And colleague, interestingly. So I will sometimes, if I remember I talked to you about you don't spin yarns, if it's not me who has done something similar, or not me who I would like to use in the story, I'd often use a colleague, one of an associate that I might have used, or I tell a story about somebody who's told me a story. You remember that? Yeah, you do that as well. So they're my favorites, actually. You can also tell stories around what happens to you during crises. It helps you to think about your values, all sorts of other things. Read the book, it's amazing. So personal, company, colleague, or customer, depending entirely on the situation. So Andy, let's see if we can do a live demo for everybody, and then I'm going to give everybody a chance to have a think about it in those same pairs. So Andy, what kind of a story would you like to tell us?
I'm going to tell a customer story.
Fantastic.
It's
Okay.
slightly fictitious, but it's representative of many.
Brilliant.
I would
Okay.
have told.
So let's go back to the structure just to help you out there, and so we can follow you. Tell us your story.
Well, once upon a time, there was a lady with a very successful training business, and she'd managed to migrate her training business from predominantly face-to-face to at least 50% online training over the course of a global pandemic. And life was good. Her company had grown and her colleagues were all sitting comfortably. Then one day, Microsoft did an update for all of their computers. And the lady went to join one of these online training sessions and, shock horror, Zoom didn't work. Because of that, the lady spent at least 15 frantic minutes thinking that her biggest customer would no longer take their training services because the technology wouldn't work, until finally she remembered that she'd met Andy in a Stronger Together session way back at the beginning of the pandemic. And within a few minutes of talking to Andy, they'd managed to reinstall Zoom. And ever since then, Zoom has worked properly and she's never lost a customer because her computers are looked after and she just focuses on what she does best.
Ah, brilliant. Congratulations. Well done. So that's how easy it is.
Thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you everybody for participating as well. It's so key. This the whole concept of storytelling and sharing experience is just so important. I hadn't realised how important, how valuable it is to incorporate this into what we do on a day-to-day basis. And Amanda and I were chatting during the breakouts, and we worked on my story actually, which was fantastic. Thank you. But you know, it's the stages of sale, the connect, the learn, match, and complete. And of course, when you've learned, then you can use the story to match a previous experience and how you work with somebody to what that potential client is after and needs. And it's so valuable. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. Now, if you do feel that you have a further sales capability or need further sales capability support, then you'll be absolutely delighted to know that Amanda, thank you for this, Amanda, is very, very kindly offering a half-day session for £850, which is absolutely incredible for somebody of Amanda's caliber. So if you are interested in that, then please do contact Amanda and connect with her on LinkedIn, connect with everybody else on LinkedIn as well. We will be sharing the recording to this session in the next couple of days. So you'll be able to refer back. I'm sure that we'll all be working on our own stories when everything is fresh in our minds. So absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you everybody for joining us. The next meeting is on the 10th of May. Hope to see you there. Until then though, have a great few weeks and see you all soon.